Have you ever felt someone likes you but they act in a completely opposite way? Or worse, they suddenly become distant and cold in an inexplicable way? Don't rush to conclude that all hope is lost, because sometimes those avoidant actions contain a surprisingly sweet secret. Welcome to today's video, where we explore the complex pieces of love and relationships together. In today's video, we'll decode 7 strange things avoidant people often do if they like you. Don't miss out, because you may be in this situation without even realizing it. If you like this content, please click subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next interesting videos. Let's explore now. I've spent time doing in-depth research on the topic of avoidance in love. From books, newspapers, social networks, to countless analysis videos by psychological experts. And I realized something quite unexpected. People with avoidant tendencies often pre-program your relationship with a breakup scenario even before it starts. It sounds incredible, but that is the harsh reality. Unlike people with a secure attachment style, they don't bet everything on the relationship from the start. Instead, they secretly build a solid layer of defense, ensuring that the relationship will never exceed their safety limit. Why? Simply because they are afraid of commitment, afraid of facing intense emotions. They always need a safe escape hatch, a psychological lifeline to protect themselves from potential harm. And this is the key to recognizing this type of person. They always date you as if you were just friends. They will try to keep your relationship hanging in the guise of friendship from the first meetings. This is the foundation they actively establish to ensure that, if any problems occur, they can easily withdraw without feeling too entangled. Another strange thing about avoidant people is how they react to gifts. In my experience, they usually seem happy to receive gifts, but then they will 1. Ignore the gift, 2. Accidentally damage, lose, or drop it, 3. Secretly give it to someone else, or 4. Buy an identical item and use that instead. It sounds unbelievable, but that is the truth. What impresses me most is that they often downplay the value of the gift by saying that they happened to find it or received it for free, and ask if you want it, or try to hide their vulnerability somehow. In other words, they are doing micro-gifting. That's when they give you extremely small or strange gifts that don't seem to make sense at first. These gifts are often symbolic, making you confused and difficult to understand them. So how to recognize an avoidant person is acting on this mechanism? Let's see if they have the following signs. Signal 1. Establishing a no-strings-attached mindset. One of the most noticeable signs in an avoidant person is that they always emphasize keeping things comfortable and non-committal. Even as the relationship deepens, they maintain the stance that this is just a light connection, nothing serious. This doesn't mean they don't have feelings, but in reality, this is how they protect themselves from the fear of commitment. For example, you might hear them say things like, "Let's just have fun together, don't take the emotional stuff too seriously." "I don't want a serious relationship right now, but I really enjoy being with you. Let's just enjoy the present, don't think too far ahead." These statements are not just jokes. They actually reflect the way avoidant people think. They want to maintain a connection, but at the same time keep an escape route for themselves. This no-strings-attached mindset helps them feel safe, but for the other person, it can easily cause confusion and hurt. So how to recognize if they are just avoiding or really don't want to have a relationship with you? Let's find out the next sign to better understand their psychology. Signal 2. Implying separation from the start. It sounds contradictory. This is one way for them to maintain a sense of security. They might say things like, "I'm not good at relationships. I don't think this will last," or "tend to ruin everything." These words are not just jokes or modesty, but in fact a preset defense mechanism. They do this for 2 reasons. First, having set out a warning from the start, they will have a reason to justify if one day they suddenly withdraw. Second, this is also a way to test your reaction. If you accept these conditions and still try to build a relationship, they may feel pressured and become even more withdrawn. So what should you do when you hear these words? Don't rush to ignore or convince yourself that they just said that, but when they love me, they will change. The truth is, if someone has thought about leaving from the moment nothing has started, you need to consider whether you really want to enter into such a relationship or not. But if they really have feelings for you, how will they express it differently? Let's explore the next sign. Signal 3. Creating situations that can lead to conflict. Sometimes this happens unconsciously, but sometimes they do it deliberately. It sounds difficult to understand, but in essence, they are testing how the relationship can break down before it really goes far. You may notice them intentionally canceling an appointment at the last minute, not replying to messages for a long time without a clear reason, or even making comments that can hurt you. These actions are like a test. How will you react? Will you get angry and blame them? Or will you ignore it and accept those behaviors? For them, this is not just a test, but also a way they control the story of a potential breakup. If conflict occurs, they can use it as an excuse to withdraw instead of facing increasing intimacy. It is worth mentioning that they don't do this because they don't have feelings for you. On the contrary, the fear of attachment makes them feel they need to find a way out before things get serious. For them, actively creating conflict helps them feel more in control rather than waiting for something unexpected to happen and hurt them. You have noticed any signs in them through the 3 signs I just mentioned? Please comment below this video. If not, congratulations to you. Let's continue. Signal 4. Creating emotional distance from the start. They often avoid personal conversations, not sharing about their past or real feelings. If you try to learn, they may dodge, joke, or even disappear for a while. They prefer to communicate via text messages but are not comfortable with calls, willing to meet but avoid intimate moments mentally. You can feel the connection, but there is always a distance that you cannot cross. The reason is not that they don't like you, but because they want to control the level of attachment. For them, keeping a distance is how to protect themselves from the risk of injury. The less emotional investment, the safer they feel if the relationship doesn't last. This is not indifference, but a defensive strategy that has been ingrained in their psychology. Signal 5. Prophecies of a sad ending. You see, avoidant people often make prophecies about a bleak future for both of your relationships. They may tell you about their troubled relationships in the past, about the not-so-happy endings they have experienced. For example, they may complain that, "I have bad luck in love, I only meet bad people. My relationships are all short-lived," or "No one can stand me for long." But at first you might think they're just sharing about the past, wanting you to understand them better. But in fact, this is a way they sow obsessions about the breakup into your mind and themselves. They want to prepare both of you for a mentality that if this relationship does not go to the end, it is not something unexpected or terrible. Metaphorically speaking, they are protecting themselves from disappointment by painting a not-so-rosy picture. They are like someone who designs an emergency exit before building a house, not yet anything has worried about leaving. This is quite odd, because it is completely opposite to how a person usually expresses when wrung before someone. Instead of building a solid foundation for the relationship, they are silently laying the foundation for the end. Signal 6. Gifts found by chance. Instead of choosing a gift with a clear meaning, they tend to give you something that they say they accidentally encountered or happened to pick up, such as a strangely shaped stone, or an old coin, or a small piece of jewelry. You may hear them say, "I found this and thought you'd like it," or "just picked it up, nothing special." They do so not because the gift is not important, but because they do not want to admit that it has meaning for them. If you react positively, they may pretend that it is just a small matter, nothing serious. If you are indifferent, they will not feel hurt because from the beginning they have downplayed the value of the gift. But if you pay close attention, these gifts often carry an implicit meaning. They may relate to a conversation between the two, or reflect the silent concern that they dare not express directly. Despite trying to be unconcerned, they still want to maintain a special connection with you without having to admit it. Signal 7. practical but insensitive gifts. One of the characteristic behaviors of an avoidant person when they like someone is to give gifts in an extremely practical but unemotional way. They may give you a new pen, a notebook, or a keychain with a simple explanation like, "I have too much of this, you take it," or "I don't mean to use it, you use it." At first glance, it may seem like this is just an unintentional action, not carrying a special meaning. But if you pay close attention, you will realize that the gift is really suitable for you. Maybe a notebook that matches your interests, a pen you once mentioned, or an item related to something between the two. This shows that they have really thought of you but deliberately make the gift seem unimportant. Why do they act like that? This is how they keep emotional distance while still showing concern. Giving gifts in a practical way helps them avoid intense emotions or expectations from you. They do not want to face the feeling of being tied when giving a gift with deep meaning, because it can make them feel vulnerable. The way they give the gift is also remarkable. They may give it to you in a hurry, without any special message. They may also avoid when you express gratitude or say something to reduce the importance of the gift. This can make you feel confused. Are they interested in you or simply want to give away an item not used? The truth is, if they do not care, they will not think of you when choosing that item. But because they are afraid of intimacy, they will find a way to make the action become normal, meaningless, as if it were just a random decision. If you see someone with the above signs, do not rush to conclude that they do not care about you. Avoidant people are not indifferent, but people who carry the fear of attachment and deep injury. They want to love, but also fear that love will make them lose control and feel safe. The most important thing is that you should not try to change them or prove that you deserve them to open their hearts. Dissatisfaction is really the common bond that drags so many of us through the darkest of our hearts. True love does not come from pursuit or clinging, but from understanding and empathy. If you are in a relationship with an avoidant person, remember that healing must come from both sides. They need to learn to face their emotions, and you also need to appreciate your own value. Hope this video has helped you better understand the psychology of avoidant people and the ways they express their feelings. If you find this content useful, please click like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next videos. Thank you for taking the time to follow. I wish you always find peace and health in your relationships.